Thank you for being here with us today.
Okay, basically, when I came here, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just gonna like figure it out along the way. But as I did, I realized that I like journalism, so I like decided to pursue that and pursue my passion in film as well, which is why I'm like a film minor and a journalism major. Pursuing like what I wanted to do and what I love at the same time.
All right. I'm Shelton Rice of OCB. This is Participant Campus, Castle, New York. Good night.
So, in order for me to pull my senior project together, it took me a little less than a full semester. I really started thinking about it junior year, and that was when I was thinking about. I knew I wanted to focus on something to deal with black artists, because that's what I eventually want to study when I'm in grad school. And due to the advice of my senior project advisor, that was when I narrowed it down to looking at two institutions so I could kind of take like a deep dive.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just
And basically, I'm looking at both institutions' history of displaying and just talking in general about Black and African American artists. Really looking at the history of each institution and focusing on specific years in particular. Like I'm focusing on 1971, 1993, and 2014.
Okay. Interesting time periods.
I'm just trying to
Well,
see like
thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. It was a pleasure.
students are obviously
I am Shelton Rice of
well,
OCP.
rather
This has been British College
students
Campus.
care about the issue.
Good
Thing
night.
is, I'm trying to find how
Good evening. I am Shelton Rice, and I am sitting here with Mary Paola. So, Mary, what made you want to come to Purchase College?
Oh, well, I'm in the acting conservatory. So I knew that I wanted to be sort of close to home. I'm from Maine, and it's a very, nationally renowned program for acting, and a nice small group, which attracted me to come here. I've got family pretty close by, extended family, so it just seemed like the best choice. And also, even for out-of-state tuition, it was so much lower than everything else that I was looking at, so that played a big part as well.
How big is this group?
My company, my graduating class, is now me and 16 other students.
Oh,
So that's all of us. I'm a sophomore, so it's just one sophomore company or class.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, this is my second year, and just the same people all the way through. I've been acting, and I think I knew that I wanted to do this for maybe like 10 years. It's just always kind of been a given.
Oh,
So it wasn't-
so it's been a major goal of yours.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
What made you want to pursue it?
I don't know. I mean, I've done a lot of different visual and performing arts, and I feel like it's just one of those things that you kind of feel like it's just the right thing to do.
Oh, so just a gut feeling.
I suppose so. It didn't. It made sense to do other things, to do other art forms, but I found that this was the one thing, really just through like theoretically thinking about going into separate fields, this was the one thing that I couldn't really give up. I couldn't see myself not doing it. And there was a period of time, and I kind of got to test that out a little bit, because I think it was last year or the year before that I didn't perform at all. I didn't do any shows. And even just that short amount of time, I realized that I couldn't live like that. I had to do it. It's just one of those things.
So it's one of the things that drives you.
Yep, it's just something I care about.
Well
Yeah.
then, I have to
Can't
see.
put that aside.
I have to see one of your performances in the
Oh, yeah.
future.
We're putting up a show at the end of this year, hopefully
Oh.
in late April.
What's it called?
We're not sure yet,
Oh, okay.
but it'll be up as the sophomore showcase. We don't know where it will be or what it is, but hopefully late April you'll be looking for that.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Of course.
Thank you for
Thank
for
you.
doing this interview, Mary. I am Shelton Rice, OCP. This is British College, New York. I bid you good night. Hello, everyone. We are inside Jonathan Jacob Hospital. We're here with a veteran, Mr. James Rice. Thank you for letting me interview you, James.
Okay.
How have you been this Thanksgiving?
All right.
Have you been good? Did anything special recently?
Yeah, I went to my sister's house.
Oh, that's nice.
We just had a nice time. Had turkey stuffing, soda, cranberry sauce, eggnog. Yeah, real nice.
A meal with your family is always good on Thanksgiving. I see you have that medal there.
Yeah.
It says, "We are forever grateful."
Yeah. For veterans. For Veterans Day.
That's good. You got a nice medal to commemorate your duties, huh?
Yeah.
So I take it, being a veteran, you had to go around a lot?
Not really.
Not really?
Yeah.
Well, then where'd you go? You went across the seas, or?
Oh, when I was in the service,
Yeah.
yeah, I went to London, England, went to France. Went to a lot of places. Yeah.
That sounds very nice. You got to go all around the world.
Yeah,
I hope you enjoyed every minute of it.
yeah, I did.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting with you, man.
Same here.
Thank you for listening to the interview.
You're welcome.
I am Shelton Rice of OCP. Good night. Good evening. I am Shelton Rice, sitting in Purchase College Library. And across from me is
Colleen Goodfield.
Colleen Goodfield. What made you want to come to Purchase College?
Well, I only applied to 4 schools, and this was the only school I visited. At the time in high school, I think I was just eager to go away and dorm at a school. So this really sparked my interest. I heard of alumni such as Regina Spektor and Stanley Tucci, and that really intrigued me. I kind of just stuck to this school because it felt comfortable for some reason.
I see.
It was very artistic and a nice small campus. It seemed like something I could adjust to pretty
So
quickly.
what was your original goal coming here?
Well, I came in as a journalism major, and I was interested to study in an artistic environment. As I said, I thought it would give me good exposure and grant me access to potential jobs that were on the more artistic realm, but I ended up taking journalism classes, and they were a little bit too logical for my way of thinking. I ended up turning to sociology later on in my college career.
Okay, what did you mean too logical?
Well, it was very political based, and there was a very specific structure to follow in writing a lot of the articles. So I ended up feeling like I needed something that was more free form. I took some sociology classes, an intro class, and it ended up being, I guess, it was just more interesting for me.
Okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
You had a bit more of you had a lot of rules basically in those classes.
Right, too many rules to follow.
And you just needed a bit more freestyle and open form.
Yeah.
Something like clay to mold.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see how I did that there.
Very-
Artistic way of explaining an
Yeah.
artistic.
Good way to tie it in.
Yeah, that's good. How have you found any jobs? You mentioned jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Have you found any that were worthwhile?
Well, I was interning at the courthouse in White Plains recently. I am working I'm not a facilitator myself, but I'm observing the facilitators at this organization which works with domestic violence abusers, and works to counsel them through their probation mandated requirements. I don't see continuing to do work like that in the future. I think, if anything, I would prefer to work with victims.
Oh, so it's a little bit intense for you.
Absolutely, yeah. But good experience for sure.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Of course.
Good luck.
Thank you. I am Shelton Rice, Prentice College campus, New York, sitting in the library. I bid you all a good night. Good evening. I am Shelton Rice, and I am sitting here with Mr. Peter Allenberg. What made you want to start this career?
Shelton, I don't think I ever intentionally started a career path. I was a young man. I was 6 years old. I started playing piano, and I just never stopped, really. And in time, I grew to see, when you're 6 years old, whatever it is you're doing just seems to you what people do, right? But then as you get a little more perspective on the world, you start to recognize what it is that you do that perhaps others don't do. And I started to realize that music was a part of my life to a far greater degree than it was most of the people I knew. Just in high school, if I'm playing sports or whatever, most people I knew were not musicians, or certainly didn't have the kind of training I had of a great classical piano teacher coming to my house once a week and giving me lessons.
So you felt unique in that regard?
Well, yeah, I began to realize it, and I think what one finds is then the joy of the company of others who share that same unique facet, let's say. So I started to find that I enjoyed the company of musicians more and more. And that was right around the time when it became, high school was ending, and one had to choose a college major, whatever. And so at that point I said, all right, well, I'm going to go to a music school and just see. So I went, but it was to be a music educator. I was going to teach in high school, whatever. But I found when I was at school, I was a classical pianist, and I found when I was at school that I began to love jazz music and find it really exciting to me. So when I graduated, I moved to New York City and said, well, let me try this and see if I can make a career as a pianist. And so that's what I did. I just loved it so that I wanted to get better at it, and I found, and of course New York is like Mecca, really, for jazz music. It's the center of the universe, right? So if you can, it's like that old song says, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, right? So I said, all right, let me try it. And thank goodness it worked out. I worked very hard, and I was able to make a living as a jazz musician.
Yeah, looks like you came a long way.
Well, yeah, and it was never really, it wasn't like it certainly wasn't as though I was thinking about doing that as a kid. I was just thinking about I better practice so I don't get hollered at in my next lesson,
Yeah, what was your original goal exactly?
There wasn't really a goal, Shelton. It was, honestly, this nice woman came to the house every week, and we sat at the piano for half an hour. And so she told me what I had to practice for the next week, and that was just part of my life. And my mom and dad were very supportive of that work, and they insisted I practice every day. And when you're a kid, you don't necessarily feel like doing that. At least I didn't, but they made sure.
So basically, it just fell into place.
And I think so much of life is that way. And then it happened, I was playing in New York, I was playing in a club with an elder bassist, a man named Rufus Reed, and, a highly respected, great musician, wonderful man, and he was running the jazz program out at William Patterson University in New Jersey. And I said, I would love to come out there and do some teaching, because I thought, I was kind of doing the scuffle of, trying to make a living playing music. And I thought that teaching 1 day a week or something would at least represent some sort of steady income, you know. Sure enough, he hired me. And so I started doing that 1 day a week. And then I had a friend that was teaching at NYU who was leaving because he got another gig somewhere. And he said he wanted to recommend me to cover to take his job. I said, sure, thank you. So now I was doing 2 days a week, one out at William Patterson, one at NYU. And then a friend of mine got the job here running the program, and he offered me a job teaching here. And so I let both of those go because this was more of a full-time thing. And frankly, a better program with better opportunity, better facilities. And then I found that I was free here to do things like found this choir. You know, this choir didn't exist before I started.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I've been with you on some of those.
Yeah, I know. And so, like, this is a great thing that I can do this in a college, that I can say, hey, can I try this? And they're like, yeah, go ahead, give it a shot. I mean, come on. That to me, that's the definition of real Eden, you know, that's utopia, you know. So, and my performing career is still very active, you know, I still make records, recordings, I still perform, I still compose. But it's nice, you know, to have this as sort of a, you know, the students really inspire me. It's a nice thing to be able to do, to sort of pass along what I've learned from experience to my jazz students.
On to the next generation.
Yeah, man. You know, that's really, they talk about jazz music being an African-American art form, and I think it is. But, okay, so what's African and what's American about it? And I have to say the part of it I think that's inarguably African is this respect for the elders and the responsibility of the elders to pass on to the younger what they know. Like that, you know, America, there's the culture of the youth here. But the African-American culture, no. I mean, because I've worked in a black church for 18 years as minister of music. And the older people were really respected, and I loved that. You know, you would never call an elder person by his or her first name. You wouldn't do it. Be Mr. whatever, Mrs. whatever, sister, brother, whatever, but it would never be, you know, hey Jim or hey Jane, whatever, you know. You just don't do that. It's not respectful. That's one of the things I love about it, and that's what is really sort of my raison d'etre being here, is to make sure that the things I learned by making mistakes and by, you know, scuffling, that they don't end with me. I can pass them on and save somebody the trouble, you know, of making those mistakes. I mean, everyone makes their own mistakes, right, of course, but maybe I can help some youngster avoid a particular mistake.
So far, it's been working out.
Yeah, thank goodness, you know. I love the job. I love being here. And the kids are great, man. I mean, you know how good our choir is.
I mean, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
One like 30?
Well, this semester we had 40 in the choir.
Okay.
We've had as many as, actually, the first year there were 90, which was too much.
So you couldn't fit all those chairs.
Well, actually, the first year we did it wasn't even here. It was in the Humanities Theater.
Oh.
It took a while for me to get this room.
Isn't that bigger?
It is bigger, but this is better, you know, with the risers, and it's in the music building.
And it has natural.
Yeah, this is where I work. I work in the music building. Yeah. So it's much nicer being here. But it took a couple of years for the course to be firmly settled and to be able to find a time when this room would be available. And I've been here since.
The waiting was worth it.
Yeah, I think so. Pardon me.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you very much for your insights today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Yeah, Sheldon, it's a real pleasure. And it's nice to have you in the group.
Of course. All right, I'm Sheldon Rice, supposed to be. This is Prentice College, Harrison, New York. I bid you all a good night. Good evening. I am Shelton Rice, and I am sitting in the library with Miss Allison Tang. Alright, Allison Tang, what made you want to come to Prentice College?
The art, because I came here because I thought this school was really creative and artistic, and I just kind of like want to embrace that creativeness in the school.
Okay, so you just like the ability to create.
Yeah,
You just like the artist and artistic nature.
yeah. I kind of wanted to try majoring in creative writing or try some drawing classes.
Oh, so making stories and making pictures.
Yeah. Though I took one creative writing class and it was really great, but I only declared my major last semester. Right now, I'm currently a junior.
Was this your original goal, like before you even came to college?
I want to do something creative, like creative writing or drawing, but one of my other options was to major in English, but they didn't have that, so literature was,
Alright, so you're looking forward to writing books, I guess.
yeah.
Can't wait to read it. Alright, thank you for being here.
No problem.
Alright, I'm Shelton Rice of OCB, sitting here at Purchase Library, Purchase College, New York. I bid you a good night.